Merry meet. You're joining Country Dwellers with your sassy solitary witch, Runa, and the Queen of Virgos, Marilyn. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this, what day is it? Oh, yeah, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Tuesday. Too early.
Yes,
There's
yes,
a
girl.
there's a hummingbird right over your shoulder.
I know I have like three, and they come. It's awesome to watch them. The one thing that's even funnier is that when I have my window open, my cat sits in my window, and he can hear them because they come buzzing in like helicopters,
Yeah.
And the moment he hears him, he jumps in the window and he's like this, and then you can hear the hummingbird saying, "Get the fuck out of the window! Get the fuck out of the Leave me alone!" Yeah, my cat would love nothing more. Trust me.
So how was your last week?
You know what? We started school and it's been going really well. The kids are uh, really learning how to work on the different links and things like that, and always report back to this home link and blah 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 and all that stuff. So they're really transitioning between classes very nicely. I don't have to be up there all the time when they're doing it, which is fabulous. Um, we've really had no Zoom outages or anything like that. The teachers have been awesome. I did just read on Facebook, I think it was last night, that one of my friend's kids, he's in high school, their Zoom class, one of the kids got on there, and you know how in Zoom you can make your name anything, right?
Uh-huh.
So one of the kids got on Zoom and made their name his name, and then started putting all kinds of profanity, racist talk, things like that on there under this kid's name. And I know this kid. He's got like the sweetest, beautiful heart, and his mother's there's no fucking way. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking to myself, why do people do this shit? Why do people do this shit? It's
I don't
horrible.
know, but your mic is hitting your necklace.
Oh, let me.
Yeah.
And this elbow's not letting me do jack.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I just don't understand why people have to be such assholes. Let's put it that way. And I know that the world is full of them, and I know that that's naive, but I choose to keep my naivety.
I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. Like that's just my default perspective. But
that's what we would want, right? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everybody's walking a difficult journey and things like that.
Yes.
But people are wearing flags right now. And letting you know exactly. I posted on Instagram this week that you can tell who thinks of themselves as part of a community and who is just a selfish jerk.
Yep.
And this week, I've been doing this shopping gig to kind of balance out the unexpected property purchase that we did. And there was a woman in the store with this black mask. Appreciate you wearing the mask, ma'am. But it said government mandated muzzle. And I looked at her and I said, good, because there's probably nothing good coming out of your mouth. But that's the flags that people are wearing. I'm for community. I'm wearing my mask. I'm happy to wear it because I care about the rest of the people around me.
Oh my God, you give a shit about other people? What?
Who are just doing it so they can go shopping. I saw a woman with a mask. I now live in a very quote unquote red county, and it said, I'm just wearing this so I can shop. I mean, why would you advertise that? I don't understand that at all. But
I hear you. I hear you on that. And here's the thing. Like I totally, if you can't wear a mask because of like a health issue or something, I get it. But you know what? Please make sure that you're safe as well and stay home and have somebody else do your shopping like you and things like
Mhm.
that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're going to wear a mask, why do you have
Politicize
to,
it.
right, and make it like belligerent remarks and things? There's no need for that,
There's
because
absolutely no need.
there are some people that really have to wear one because their lives depend on it. Like my
Yeah.
little dude, if he catches this shit, it's possible, I don't think he's going to put it into the universe.
It's yeah, it's deadly for people who
Yes,
don't have any kind of
health issues.
health issue.
Yeah.
And and that's the part that I'm just so frustrated with. And I think that's why my my back went out, because I've just been under assault for weeks by this negativity that's out there. Like, how in the world can you feel good, look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, and with this, this negative attitude that, I don't have to do this. You
Mhm.
can't tell me what to do. It's not about
Mhm.
telling people what to do. It's about caring for your community.
That's
And I'm
correct.
so just tired of carrying that burden, that the people who care, especially witches, we're all about healing ourselves and healing the planet, and we're carrying that burden. And then there's these fuck faces out there, excuse my French, but I'm so frustrated, who are they're basically undoing everything.
Yeah.
I had a cashier just stop me because the woman ahead of her was not wearing her mask correctly, and they have been now instructed to ask people to put their masks on
Well, it's their
correctly,
safety too.
which is difficult. They're in a very unempowered situation, right?
Yeah.
But and the woman tried, she's like, I can't breathe, and my doctor said that I shouldn't have to wear a mask, and I have I'm immunocompromised. And I'm like, and I'm standing back, and the woman's like, well, then you should be using our curbside pickup or grocery delivery, ma'am.
Correct.
She got all pissed off and said she's going to go talk to the manager. And I'm like, okay, Karen,
It's just,
whatever.
especially if you're immunocompromised. Why are you in the store?
Because
Why?
you.
I think that some people are using that word. They're not. I believe they're using that word just to
They're
get
just
away with.
using it.
Exactly. And
If you're immunocompromised, you should not be in the store, let alone not wearing your mask correctly. I'm
totally,
sorry. But
totally.
the
I mean,
woman was like, I have an 89-year-old mother that I have to go home to every day, and I am trying so hard to be safe, but this is the only thing that supports us. And that's
correct,
the part that makes me so angry. Here's
correct.
somebody who is doing everything they can to just make it. And
Mm-hmm.
these people are going to come along with their selfishness and their violence. It's
Yes.
violent. At this point, I look at it as a violent attack if you are
Mm-hmm.
not behaving in this manner.
Mm-hmm. It is unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And you know, the mentality of some of these people is it's not even just about selfishness. It's about the disbelief that this is happening. And it's about entitlement. It's about, and unfortunately,
Privilege.
I've seen this firsthand. It's about
Mm-hmm.
the thinking that this is a way to filter out the weak. And I've seen this via posts on Facebook and things like that. And these people are like, well, at least we'll have a stronger world, whoever comes out of this. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you could be talking about your own mother,
Right.
who doesn't. You could be talking about a poor innocent little child who doesn't,
Right.
like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you think that? How can you be so vile?
Right.
It's horrible. It's absolutely
So
horrible.
yeah, so my week ended up being laid out because just all that negativity attacked me. I threw my back out, which, like, I'm so, because of my spinal injuries, I am so focused on body mechanics and lifting with my knees and making sure I'm sitting correctly and holding my core and all of that. And my body was just like, sit down, witch,
A
sit
lot
down.
of people don't understand that and everyone, is an empath. You tune yourself into receiving it, right? Everybody's receiving that stuff. And a lot of people don't understand that when you start developing pains and aches and dis-ease in your body, it relates to energies that you're picking up, and like the low back pain, that's because this world is so fucking unstable right now.
Yeah.
Unstable.
Mine is the spasms are in the middle of my back, which is unusual for me. I have not experienced this. Normally it's low because that's where all my injuries were, or my neck, because that's where my injuries have been. This is totally new, brand new. And I told Greg, I said, it feels like I've been carrying a rucksack of negativity.
Yeah.
And my body is responding that way.
Well, think about it too. I mean, you think about the middle of the back, that's between your heart and your solar plexus chakra,
Yep.
And that solar plexus, it's happiness, and your heart is filling up, a lot of people's hearts, filling up with the sadness and this anger. Of course, it's going to cause dis-ease, and it's really unfortunate that so much work and so much energy that so many people have put out into this world of change and positivity and things like that is now just being trampled on by people that are just ignorant. You know what I'm saying? And I have seen it bring so much depression to a lot of my awakened friends that a lot of them aren't believing anymore. They aren't believing that their work is helping to bring about positive change.
Yeah, they're having a real attack on their faith.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it. I totally get it.
And it's really unfortunate because a lot of them will come out of this thinking that, number one, they can't make a difference. And number two, why give so much of themselves? It's a really tough time out there right now. And the only thing that we should focus on is just being fucking compassionate, just being fucking nice. Can we just do that?
Yeah. And that's kind of, this past week, I think I mentioned it on last week's podcast, but my focus last week was on upping my meditation game and being able to dial my own intuitive psychic ability, dial it up when I needed to and dial it down. That kind of control, we talked about not
your open close sign.
Yeah, not forgetting to do your protection rituals and spells, and then working that psychic ability up and down. And I came to that yesterday on Sunday when I said, okay, Sunday is a day of self-care. Yesterday we had to take another one. We did a few things, but they were like light things. Like I processed the last of the pears yesterday. And because you can't sit, stand, or lay down for too long right now while my back is in this state. And so those were good things. Those were positive things that we could do. But I came to that recognition is like, I have to have compassion. Like what horrible things in their life have happened that have created this person that is so unaware and selfish. Like that, it's just so sad. It's so sad.
Correct. With the mentality that we should stay home or not exist.
And then we had a special visitor too.
I saw
was
your
so
pretty
excited.
praying mantis. And how cute was it that it was looking right at you while you were talking? Oh my gosh. I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen, that's so fucking adorable.
he or she, I don't know. The mantis was so tolerant of my going on, Well, because in my last property at our Thrasher Studios, we released praying mantis, and I never saw any after we released them. Like they just went away. I was a little upset. I was like, please, one of you, please stay. That's, but the Viking had never seen one. Like, saw the little, you know, um, neophytes or whatever they call them. They're little like larvae things. They don't look like praying mantis when you release them. Uh, and so he'd never seen one in person. And so he was, you know, he's like, because it was so weird. It's like you see it fly and it looks spastic when they fly.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like a fairy, like, you know, twinkle lights, kind of, it had like this like iridescent sheen to it while it's flying. The sun catches its under wings and everything
Nice.
like that. And it was just so cool. And again, a reminder that there are very positive things in this world, and
Yes.
getting out into nature is so healing, even if it's in your backyard.
Well, it's also so necessary right now. You
Mhm.
know, I think getting out into nature humbles us. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, it's just so vast and expansive, and you know, especially when like we're walking through these huge trees, it's very humbling. It's like looking out into the ocean. It's
Yeah.
so expansive, and then you realize, holy shit, I'm only one little teeny weeny being. You
Right.
know, and it definitely puts some reality back in your
Mhm.
fucking world. Um, I have, let's see what I do this past. I've been working my ass off, is what
Yes,
I've
I
been
know
doing.
you have.
Working my ass off. I've been doing lots of virtual readings, which is amazing. I love
That's
that.
great.
And then, like a couple weeks ago, I started my Thursday random readings where I go live on Insta. So that's really fun. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. Tuesdays, you know, Jen, and then Sundays I teach my classes. So I'm always writing in between, and then the kids' online classes, so helping them with all of that stuff too. And it's been uh, it's been quite busy, but I am uploading. Oh, and then I'm doing the Seattle Psychics Association stuff, and I am uploading new classes onto my website. So I'm very excited about those, and I'm evaluating a membership that I want to put on my website, but Spirit and I have not talked through the details fully,
Mhm.
so I haven't uploaded it on there yet. So it should be pretty good as well. So yeah, I've been super busy. Oh, and then I did the Pisces full moon ceremony,
Oh, right.
which if it hadn't have been for my microphone, that honestly was my favorite ceremony that I have
It
ever
was
done.
so beautiful. It was so beautiful. I was having internet connection issues too. Like I would
Mm,
log in and I would get like 2 minutes, and then it would like, I just would lose my signal. And there was like, I don't know, solar flares or some weirdness going on because the Viking was getting problems with his technology. um you know, that for like 4 or 5 hours that night we were just like, everything was weird. But every
right.
time I would go back in, I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it. And at the, you know, the microphone cutting in and out was really pissing me off, to be quite honest with you. And I didn't know how badly it was doing that until I listened to it the next day. Um, and what is so funny about it is when I listened to it, some of the most important things that I wanted to say, that's what was crackling. And I'm like, oh, spirit. Spirit is like, for some reason, not wanting to put that information out there, you know.
Mm.
The one great thing was that the meditation wasn't too bad. So
Oh, good.
I was
Yeah.
very excited about that.
Yeah.
But I loved how one of the things that I'm trying to teach my students these days is you don't have to have elaborate stuff. You don't have to spend a whole bunch of money on your craft. You know what
Mm-mm.
I'm saying? Like, um, there's just no need, you know, and you
Mm-hmm.
can set up an altar anywhere. Earth is your altar. Anywhere you go, you're walking.
Right.
It's sacred space. It's your altar, you know.
Right.
So I did it with all the candles and all of that, and you know, with the singing bowls, with the vibration of sound, hopefully
It was
putting it out
great.
into the universe. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing that one, and I shit you not, there was something in my forest that night.
Oh, I'm
hanging
sure.
out with me. Hey,
I'm
not even,
sure.
not just spirit. Like there was physical attributes in my forest hanging out with me. I could hear them in my forest, and I was like, okay, I'm safe. I'm safe. My
It's
forest
so funny.
guardians will protect me.
It's so funny that you talked about, people just complicating their personal magic. I saw a funny meme the other day, says, baby witches, okay, I need 12 candles and this crystal and this herb and everything like that. And intermediate witch is like, oh, I've got a emergency candle or flashlight, and I got a mushroom in my pocket.
Oh, I got a
That
fly
works.
swatter. That'll be wind.
That'll be weird. And then it's like crone. It's just better to tell people to fuck off.
Or you know what? I'm sitting in my bed. Okay, ritual. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it is the funniest thing about teaching students is, you know, because you watch all these movies and all these witches have so many things and this and that, and so a lot of the new witches grow up thinking that they need all of that material, and it's like no,
You
no,
just
you
need
don't.
intention.
Just need your intention. You just need
That
your
is the one
mind.
part of
Hmm.
baby witch, intermediate witch, crone, experienced witch. You're doing a protection spell, and when you're starting out, sometimes you need all of that stuff just so you can
Just to
put your
make you feel
mind
more stable.
right,
Hmm.
so you can put your mind there. But as you progress in the craft and you practice, and you it becomes your spiritual center and ground, and you ground yourself in that, you don't need anything
Exactly.
but you. That's it.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's one of the reasons I did it that way, because I wanted to teach them that, and their final project for this year is to write out their own ritual. So I wanted to teach them that ritual can be any way that you write it. It doesn't have to be calling in the corners unless you want it that way. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It doesn't, nobody, there's no law. And even if there was, I wouldn't follow it.
No, that's like one of the only rules of the craft is don't tell other people how to witch.
Correct. We all do it differently, and that's the most beautiful aspect in it. And don't judge me because I lit the wrong candle at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason for that. Absolutely none. So that was our weeks. We had busy, busy weeks.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and talk about. Let's go and get the brew and the reduce, reuse, recycle out of
Okay.
the way. What are you making this week for brew?
So I have to make another batch of my do-it-yourself fabric softener.
Very cool.
And everybody will kind of see a theme. I've been working with vinegar since we started season 3. And that's because it is one of the most inexpensive and easily obtained elements that you can make and use in your daily life as well as your magic life.
Are you
And
using white vinegar or are you using your apple cider?
this is white vinegar that I used. You could use apple cider, but it better be filtered pretty well.
Gotcha.
And that's why distilled white vinegar is perfect for this. It's 6 parts vinegar, 1 part baking soda, another element that is super easy to obtain, super inexpensive. And then you can put in like for like I do 6 cups of vinegar and 1 cup of baking soda. And it's really fun too. Like if you've got little kids, because when you add the baking soda to the vinegar or vice versa, it doesn't matter which order you put it in, it foams up, it gets
Oh, that's
all,
cool.
but you do want to add the essential oils, whichever you like. Lavender is a good one for fabric softener.
Mm.
Jasmine is another really good one.
Ylang ylang.
I like a
Mm.
lot of earthy scents, so I love clove,
Mm-hmm.
which helps kind of repel bugs. But then 6 parts vinegar, like for a big thing like that, I might do about 15 to 20 drops of essential oil. This is just 1/8 cup of baking soda, and then 6/8 a cup in a third. I don't know, my math is off. And then just like 3 drops in this one. When I'm washing the Vikings clothes, I use unscented. So I have two scented because I love my towels to have good scent. And then especially my outdoor clothing, like if we're going to be outside, my hoodies and stuff, I'll use the clove oil one. But it's super simple. Fabric softener is stupid expensive in the store.
Crazy.
It is full of chemicals that are terrible for our water table. And so if I for my towels, like that's the number one thing that I use fabric softener for all the time. It's such a great thing, and you can put crystals in it and spell it so you can have more intention. Like if you want to use it for like your business clothes, and you want to create a little bit of a spiritual armor for it, it's really awesome.
If you want to be seen, if you want to be, I mean, you know what I'm saying, you can put it into those clothes and it brightens that energy around them. Very cool. Very cool. What'd you do for reduce, reuse, recycle, which is that's also kind of your reduce, reuse, recycle,
Yeah.
But what else did you do?
First of all, I wanted to show everybody what our celery from last week is doing. Look at that.
They're so cute when they start sprouting.
And, but the fall gardens are happening now. But for spring, starting seeds inside is necessary for most folks in North America. So you can take old grocery containers like this, fill it with soil, and let it sit. Put a little bit of water in, just enough to dampen it. You don't want like a flood. You don't want water.
Yeah, because then mold grows in it too.
And then just let it sit for a couple of days, and then you can put your seeds in it. And so next week, hopefully we'll have some sprouts.
I love using those containers. Every time Erin buys like strawberries and stuff from Costco, you get the big container, and it also has like the holes in the top. You know what I'm saying? So they're wonderful little seed planters. Wonderful little seed planters. I love them. Good for you. Let's see, for our reduce, reuse, recycle this week, we ate our pickles. We finished a jar of pickles, and instead of tossing out the juice and things like that, we cut up some cucumbers into little chips and put them into the pickle juice. They are so good, girl.
Oh yeah,
and they're so crispy.
I love to just put like onions and carrot, anything in the old pickle juice.
So yummy. So yummy. I love it. I and the thing was, I had never done it. So, of course, my personal chef, Erin, my personal chef, Babe, he did it. And I was like, damn, these are good. Why have you never done this before? No. Let me point that out. No. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the moon and the planetary aspects and all of that stuff going on.
We're in Wayne and Gibbous today, 68% illumination, which is still a lot. It was so bright out last night even, which was, it was a little bit cooler last night, but tonight it's still going to be putting off a lot of light.
Were you able to see a lot of it with the smoke? Do you have a lot of smoke over there?
We don't, and that's because we're getting we kind of are in this zone where the winds from the east that are sweeping the northeast are kind of hitting some of the coastal breezes that we normally have, and it's just enough to keep the smoke away. But I think today we're probably going to see it. I was joking with the Viking yesterday and telling him, now that we've been living here for 3+ months, that I've noticed that our county either smells like dead fish from the coast or cow manure from the farmland.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not always, but every now and then it's like, what is that smell? Oh, it's dead fish. And oh, what
Oh
is
my
that
God.
smell?
That reminds me of the show, The Vikings, King Harold with like his dock, and it's all about the whale and the dead fish they're bringing in. There's fish guts every. I'm like, oh my God, I could not live in a place that smelled like dead fish. Oh,
Yeah, well, when the
no.
tide goes out, right, then the sun hits those
Oh,
that ocean floor basically, right? It's not a pleasant smell. So
ew.
this morning when I went outside with the dogs, it smelled like apples. The
Oh,
apples are
that's
ready to
nice.
harvest. So
That's
we're
nice.
I'm going to be hanging this today.
Nice.
And
Nice.
we'll be harvesting apples, but they won't be processed till we get back from fishing. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
so the moon's in Taurus, and my yoga practice this morning after our very early podcast is going to be focused on feet and toes, and then my meditation, I'm going to be working on my throat chakra today.
Everybody needs to work on their damn throat chakra. Let's just put it that way. Everyone. Yeah, throat, heart, solar plexus. Can we just all like everybody? Okay.
and, and the moon today
So,
for you means what?
well, when the moon goes into waning gibbous, that's like the after baby pregnancy weight. So it's about that release. It's about the detoxifying. It's about all that. And I entered my second house in my chart on the 3rd of September, and it's all about the examining of self, and with that Pisces full moon, kind of put me in check a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I've been a little extra hard on myself these past couple weeks. And I think with this waning moon, I'm just going to do some release work and allow myself to go ahead and release at least that talking unkindly to myself. You know what I'm saying?
No negative self-talk.
No, and the funny thing is I teach other people this all the time. Like, how dare you talk to yourself that way? And then I fucking do it. So I really need to stop that. So I think that's what I'm going to be working on. With the waning, it's all about that letting go. And one of the ways that you can continue to let go is just start with releasing something small. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be huge, just releasing something small. So I think that if people are like, that's not small, but yeah, it is in my world. It is. It's a reminder, hey, be fucking nice to yourself, which is what the whole full moon was about.
Right.
I'm saying? So God dang it.
Well, and you'll get a nice little reminder on tomorrow, the 9th,
Yeah, I
when Mars
know.
goes retrograde. So
I know, girl. I know. There's a lot of planets in retrograde right now, going into retrograde extremely soon. It's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? And, we're void course moon. And so that transitioning from one sign into another sign, as short or long as it can be, brings a feeling of instability as
right.
well, and you're going from an earth sign, which is okay, and Taurus, which is okay, I feel securely rooted, into Gemini, which is air, and you're like, oh wait, now I can fly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know what to do, and
Yeah,
I mean, there's
the 11th, the sun will be opposite Neptune. So there'll be lots of indecision, confusion, but also some very strong intuitive energy.
yes. Our Neptune is our planet for creativity as well, and it brings in that imagination, and it reveals the meaning of the dreams and things like that to us, and it's
Mm-hmm.
a wonderful planet, but it's also in retrograde. And it's in retrograde in Pisces. So one of the things that I'm seeing with all of these planets in retrograde is that not only is this about confusion, but some of the skills that even the best psychics and mediums might have could seem a little cloudy right now,
Mm-hmm.
could seem a little bit disconnected right
Yep.
now. So one of the things I would tell people is, I always tell people, listen to your intuition, but right now with everything, basically everything being in retrograde or going to be in retrograde, now's a really good time to learn how to connect not only with your intuition, but learn how to connect with your entire being in a different way.
Yes.
Those old ways that we not old, but normal ways that we connect with ourselves may not be working right now.
Our
Which can
default
cause,
settings, as it were.
yes, which can cause frustration, anxiety, anger, self-doubt, which is huge.
Yes.
So just focus on kind of learning how to connect with yourself a different way, so you can feel that intuition a different way, which if you look at it, it's an amazing gift to put into your
Yes.
toolbox.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
And then on the 13th, though, we do get a little bit of energy boost because Jupiter goes direct after being retrograde since May. So there should be lots of new energy to be used towards opportunities of self-improvement.
the two that I'm worried about, Mercury's going retrograde soon, and
Again?
it's going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio.
I know.
So,
Joey.
yeah, so I mean, Mercury is my planet. It's Virgo, and Mercury for me is that communication. It's that wonderful communication, and right now it's in Pisces, so it can be very intuitive communication and free-flowing communication and compassionate communication. But when it goes into Scorpio, I can say that sometimes it doesn't bring out the best in me. See the hummingbird?
Yeah, I do.
I can say that it doesn't always bring out the best in me when it goes into Scorpio, because sometimes it opens my mouth too much when I'm talking to people, and Virgos are crazy analytical anyway, but sometimes it brings out I say the worst that I'm seeing in this person, and I have to remind myself, bitch, they did not ask you. Shut up, shut your mouth. So, and then, I mean, let's see, 1, 2, 3,
there's a place for that kind of direct communication, though.
Totally. There totally is. But
and how long will Mercury be in retrograde in Scorpio?
Until the 27th of October. But it doesn't, even though it doesn't really go into retro until like October 13th or something like that, we have to remember that there's at least that week.
Shadow.
At least that pre-shadow of a week. And sometimes for different people, it feels different. You know what I'm saying? Like you're Scorp, so I'm wondering how it's going to affect you and how soon it starts affecting you. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, there are certain retrogrades that I can feel a month before they get here, because they really mess with me. They mess with my mojo. And then there are certain retrogrades that I can just go through and I'm like, oh, there was a retrograde? I didn't even know. You know what I mean? So it varies for people, right?
I don't know. I think I'm fairly direct in my communication. Sometimes I feel like I'm clearer than what I am. And so I think I'm just going to have to pay attention that I'm using all the words I need to, because a lot of times I communicate from a foundation of assumption. And, sometimes you have to go back and say, this is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The Viking
Yes.
is he's very guilty of that. He'll just make this statement, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about this. I'm like, well, we were just talking about that. So those two things didn't connect. I'm confused
Right.
here, you know? So,
Right.
so that active listening, asking a question, stating the subject matter that you're talking about ahead of time.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very important. That's important whenever Mercury goes into retrograde, because that is our planet of communication, travel, that electronic planning, things like that, But one of the things that I will say, because, Venus is in Leo, and which normally brings out this amazing, passionate side of me, right? But I mean, then you have Aries going into retro in Mars here in a couple of days. And I'm realizing, oh, okay, that's why there's so much angst and frustration in my love language right now, because I got fires. There's two fires coming into play, And normally when that Aries is in Venus or whatever, that fire allows me to be creative and passionate. But with it going into retrograde, especially, in Mars, it's putting this not only confusion of communication, but my emotions are fucking insane. So when somebody says something to me, and because it's rocking the boat of my love language, it really upsets me right now. Like, it really upsets me, So it's things like that that we notice during these planetary movements, which is why it's important for us to write them down. Write them down. Do that check-in. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you wake up and you're feeling a little off, do that check-in. Find out where these planets are sitting, find out, because that's how they're affecting you at that time, And then we have, let's see, we got Jupiter in Capricorn in retrograde, and Saturn in Capricorn. And then you got Uranus in retro. Neptune in retro, and Pluto, ow, honey, and Pluto in retro and Capricorn, in Capricorn. There's a lot taking place, and a lot of these planets in retrograde are about, our feelings of restrainment or expansion. You know what I'm saying? With Saturn. Ow, my God, stop it. My cat is like, yes, he's clawing my knee and biting me. He's like, pet me, bitch.
You're not paying attention to me.
Well, I mean, Saturn's that planet of limitations. And so the one thing that I've learned with the planets in retrograde it's kind of like a do-over in golf, right? And we kind of need to sit back. And I mean, when we're talking about, let's just take Saturn in retrograde, that planet of limitations, I think that but it's not just limitations. It's like rules, and it's like organization, and it's like, this straight path. You know what I'm saying? I think that we have to sit back and wonder, why do I have a problem with this? Why do I feel as though I need to bust out of these limitations so much? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where is it that I'm too flighty, too much of a free spirit? Things like that,
Yeah, with Pluto in retrograde, I knew that we had to kind of be stationary the entire time it was retrogrades.
And I mean, Pluto's one of those planets where, oh, God damn it, sorry. Pluto's one of those planets where it's that revealer. It brings out that truth within. And that truth, although very transformational, can be, because it is so transformational, can be life-rocking. You know what I mean? And it's very much shadow, and don't even think about it. It's very much shadow work, and that shadow work can be hard, So think about traveling across the sea while you're dealing with your shadow shit. With with you being a Scorpio and Neptune being in retrograde. No.
Yeah, in my Aquarius Viking. Yeah.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Somebody might not come back.
True. That's true. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know, shit. I mean, and the one thing that you hit upon earlier, especially with your fabric softener, is right now during this time is not this time to spend a lot of money, you know, and with Jupiter in retrograde, it's definitely not time to spend a lot of money. We need to do stuff like make our own sanitizer, make our own softener, you know, start working on making dinner every night instead of ordering. Although, I mean, I love supporting your community restaurants and things like that, you know, but in the same token,
balance.
yeah, definitely. Like Friday night, we order pizza or we order out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? But not every night, because it's time to count our pennies and it's time to appreciate them a little bit more now, you know? So what are you doing to prepare for all of these retrogrades?
Stocking up on rest, stocking up on supplies, stocking up on taking stock, if you will, on me. You know, I've been very, very focused on where do I need to heal me, where do I need to improve, and not setting goals that are so ridiculous. Like last week I was like, I'm gonna push my meditation. That's what I'm gonna push, you know. And this week, you know, I'm really working on making a priority of aligning chakras and making sure that my yoga practice is a priority. Even though we're going to be out on the boat, you know, I was like, we're changing the way the deck is set up because I need to have my space to do the yoga, even though we're on the water or whatever. So that's what I'm doing to prepare. I mean, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm not getting anxious about it. I spent a lot of time last week reorganizing the studio. I've been making anti-anxiety amulets that I sent the first one to my daughter, spelled it under the full moon, and you know, making sure that I'm focused on what I can control.
Yes.
And releasing what I can't control. And that's all my preparation.
Good. That's amazing.
Retrogrades are a time to go within, and
they are.
And we're in a pandemic pause. So there's no reason not to. What I think a lot of folks are struggling with is they feel like it has to happen right now.
And it doesn't. And it doesn't. And you know, that's the funny thing. One of the funny things about this whole pandemic, you would think, and we did in the beginning, it was a little bit slower. People were moving at the slow pace because it was shut down, you know what I'm saying? But now with the bringing everything virtual, I've seen people moving at such fast paced and just like they used to, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wait a minute, man, there's this other reality happening over here. And I'm not saying focus on it to the point that you're so depressed you can't do anything. But I'm also saying don't sweep it under the rug either. There's a lot going on, you know what I mean? And this is the time where you should slow down so you can acknowledge what's going on, so you can acknowledge your part in what's going on. The retrogrades are a redo time. They're a reevaluation time. They are that beautiful time to go within, to be introspective and really acknowledge what's going on with you on the inside. If we continue to just sweep the pandemic, Black Lives Matter, if we continue to sweep all of this under the rug, It's not going to be changed. And if
No.
it is changed, it's not going to be changed for the better. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because with what else are you sweeping under the rug?
Mm-hmm.
Going on in office, let all this
Right.
shit you're sweeping under the rug, you know what I'm saying? And
Your
just so,
piles, all the different
yes,
piles.
yes, just so you can continue on with your virtual life now,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and it's like, wait a second, take it a step back. We're
Right.
having we're having all of these retrogrades and this pause for a fucking reason. What do you think that reason is?
Right.
So we have time to create this change, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Shit. I love the one of the things that I do for myself every week is I set a personal goal. And
Mm-hmm.
I have learned that goal cannot be something that I want to accomplish now, but I know would take me 5 years to really accomplish.
Right.
I do set that, I do set that goal. Hey, this is my goal for the week. I'm going to make sure that I drink such and such water. I'm going to make sure I work out 3 times this week. You know what I'm saying? Something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Um, I find that when I do things like that, it's much easier
Mm-hmm.
to meet those goals, which is a positive thing that you're feeding yourself,
Yeah.
right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, okay, I met that goal. What's my next goal going to be? you know
Yeah.
so I love the fact that you are taking this time out, working on yourself, not pushing yourself too much, which you often do.
Yeah.
Not
Well, that's the Scorpio.
I know, not beating yourself up for not finishing a project in one day, which you often do, you know
Oh no, I think I'm really starting to, I mean, I had a conversation with my daughter. She has rediscovered skateboarding. And that used to be a part of their young life all the time. I took them to the skate park all the time. Like all of them loved to do that, whether it was
hmm
scooting, BMXing or riding a scooter, riding a skateboard. And in the case of my daughter, and she's like, I'm 21 years old and I just finally learned how to do an ollie, blah, 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 blah. I suck so bad. And I'm like, okay, when was the last time you were on a board? What you were 12,
hmm
13, whatever. And now you're back at it. Do you really honestly think that you're going to be Tony Hawk in, 2 days? Come on. Right. And so I've been telling that lesson to my children all the time. And a lot of times I don't take my own damn advice,
yes,
but
exactly.
but on the 13th of October, I will be well and full crone.
Good.
And I'm seeing the lessons that I'm teaching my children. I'm actually taking in, the lessons that I've struggled with. Like, you can't do everything every day,
Mm-mm.
and accepting the fact that I'm getting older and my energy is not where it was when I was 25.
Neither are our bodies.
Right.
Mm-mm.
And I just have to accept that. The stress, I think, comes in where I feel like the rest of the world is not going to wait for me.
Yes.
Right.
No, I
So
get it.
that's why the anti-anxiety amulet became a focus last week, because I had that awareness that, hey, I've got to do what I can to curb this anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do I do that? Well, I got to meditate every day. I absolutely have to meditate. Like, I learned about meditation when I was going through my PTSD therapy, and it is something that I absolutely have to do every day, or I feel a little crazy.
Yeah.
And I have to do my yoga. I have to take my spine is crooked. And if I don't do yoga every day, even 5 to 10 minutes on the mat, and there are days where it's just like, it's so hard to bring myself there. But if I do it, I feel better. And I'll trick myself and just like, you just have to do 10 minutes today. And next thing I know, I've been there for 30 minutes. Right.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's good. Right. The hardest part is just dedicating yourself to doing something for a short amount of time. And before you know it, it's a regular habit.
I completely agree with that.
And the other part of the anxiety was, working magic, spelling the amulet, working with herbs and crystals, and creating something that will reside right near my heart chakra, and help be a reminder. Take a breath, breathe in, breathe out, and just do what you can do. Control what you can control.
Good. That's exactly what needs to go down. It's exactly what needs to go down. We cannot control everything. We can control how we react. We have that control. How we act and how we react. You know what I'm saying? And that does need to be the focus. Are we going to react with anger towards ourselves, anger towards the world? Are we going to react with, wait a minute, I know that there is change that can be made, and that change does begin with me, So I choose to react with a loving, kind manner, rather than an ignorant, vile manner. You know what I'm saying? So.
Sorry, there's noise outside.
I was going to say, did Spirit just knock on your window?
I don't know what that. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry, babe.
Maybe.
So I think that, I think the main thing that people need to remember is we're getting a gift of huge reboot, huge redo. Let's really focus on what we put into that redo. Let's really focus on, hey, the making sure I fucking go out 3 times a week. Oh, no, I don't need that. I'm going to leave those puzzle pieces on the ground. I don't need to pick that up with my reconstruction of my redo. You know what I'm saying? Or, the bad things that I don't need to pick those up. Those might have been a part of me, but I can choose to not have them be a part of me anymore.
Right.
And that's the great thing about retrogrades. And that's often what people miss out on, is that ability to get that pause and say, okay, I'm going to change the way I treat myself.
Yeah.
Therefore, when I change the way I treat myself, it exudes and my aura just expands. And then maybe it knocks on the door of somebody else and they learn a different way to treat themselves. It's just that easy, right? Just that fucking easy. What else? Oh,
card.
Yes, let's do a card. Oh, that one wanted to come out. So, there's 2. We have the 5 and 6 of swords that came out. So we got the 5. The 6 is in reverse.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our 5 of swords that came out, and because Mercury going into retrograde, Mercury is that communication, right? So with Mercury going into retrograde and that 5 of swords being that first card, one of the things that it really reminds us of is what we were just talking about. Be compassionate. Use compassionate love language versus vile language and vile action and reaction. The 5 of swords, it talks about that friction and the ability to choose to take the high road rather than stoop down to the vile level of, unfortunately, so many people today, And then the 6 of swords in reverse is telling us that if we don't do these kind of things and make this change, that we're not going to be able to move forward. This is our stopping point. This is where we've hit that rock in the water. And unless we change our outlook, unless we change our verbalization, our communication, not just by voice, but with heart as well, if we don't change that, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to be at a fucking standstill. So that is what we need to focus on this week, is how we speak our love language, making sure that we speak it.
I like it.
All right.
I don't really. Spell for us today?
Instead of a spell this week, it really calls to me just, I want to focus on that goal. I want to focus on setting that small goal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I use the word small, but I use it with love. Focus on, you're my word, lady. Let's focus on that attainable goal
Mm-hmm.
for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think any spell that I could say would be more so of an affirmation. Like we all have this energy within us. We need to take this time of redo, of retrograde, just to focus on that energy and allow ourselves to set those attainable goals and believe in ourselves. Believe in ourselves first.
Yes.
Believe in ourselves first.
Yes.
That's what I believe in ourselves first. That's my message for this week.
I
Definitely.
like it. I like
Good. Well, I am happy that we do this once a week. I do miss your physical being, but
it.
it's
Same.
nice to see you virtually. Very nice to see you. And good luck on the upcoming thing you got going on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And have fun on the sailboat, babe.
I will. And to everyone listening, thank you for spending this time with us. Go in peace, love, and light.
The circle is open, but unbroken. Until we meet again, my darling, merry
Mary
part
part and
and
blessed
blessed
be.
be.